This year's Acts Teens Camp was a camp like no other. We had one of our highest ever signups, with over 100 teens ready to experience and encounter God. But having to plan for camp in the unfamiliar territory of Cameron Highlands and in the midst of the COVID-19 situation wasn't easy. This is our story. This is Acts Teens Camp 2020.
How I signed up for camp was through my friends at school. They really persuaded me to the point like they'll belanja me food, like, bro, I'll belanja you food if you can come to camp. It's really worth it.
I think I was actually forced by Chloe, but I was very hyped at the same time because I didn't go to camp in a very long time.
Actually, to be honest, I signed up for fun because I got nothing to do at home also.
I actually signed up out of faith because I actually had a final exam that was expected to be during camp. When I checked my final exam dates, it was actually the week after camp. So it was really just a testimony to sign up for camp itself. This year was actually my first time being a camp commandant, and with camp being such a big event for ex-teens, it's also one of the things that I hold dear to heart because I see many lives change even from the previous camps.
So before camp, I usually don't spend much time with God, and in camp I suddenly change. I suddenly start praying, talk to God every time and read the Bible.
I think he taught me to be more brave, to talk to other people. I'm a very quiet person in church somehow, but I'm actually very open. But once I went to camp, I went all out. I was very hyped.
I was able to have the opportunity to become one of the tribe leaders. So I think one of the main things I've learned is to just have fun and to just be able to bond with others and not have so much competition.
Go! Hey, I don't need to deliver. I get worried.
This year's theme was mostly about purpose, and that's what we learned throughout the sessions with many guest speakers and many 5-minute preachers.
For one of the sessions, Pastor Andy talked about how the greatest temptation was running away from our purpose.
The greatest temptation in life for all of us here, no matter how young or old you are, is the temptation not to live out your purpose.
When we put our faith in God, He always return that trust by guiding us and protect us.
Sometimes even if you feel like you're in a storm, even if you feel like you're lost, ask God, because God's plan is always yes and amen for you. His promise is always yes and amen.
Malaysia has confirmed its first citizen.
14 new patients have been diagnosed.
Dimaklumkan bahawa terdapat 5 kes baru.
After much prayer, after much consultation, we decided to go for camp. We believe that God has something that He wants to do in camp, and so we decided to go. After all the different advice, after being as responsible as we can, we came up with all the different measures, safety measure, hygiene measures. We made sure we went to buy as many bottles of hand sanitizer as we can. We were scrambling for a thermometer to find the scanners. We came up with statements of the statements, different SOPs to make sure that if we do go for camp, we are going to be as safe as we possibly can.
During the day itself, there were many people who pulled out last minute, which broke my heart. And one of those teens is actually my camp commandant, Ryan Justin.
I guess this year was completely different because I was not able to go for X-Teens camp due to the pandemic. My mom did not allow me to go, but I fully understand why she didn't allow me to go. I know she loves me and cares for me, and that's why she made that decision. Or not, she wouldn't, because she knows how much this camp meant to me.
I was getting calls midnight, the night before camp, saying, we may have to pull out our son, our daughter, and there were actually a lot of doubts inside me. I'm like, am I making a mistake? What if just one person catches the virus, right? And we're all in close proximity.
I think the biggest feeling that I was going through is that I really wanted to experience this camp, but I was not able to experience it, and there was a lot of feelings going in my head saying that, wow, I did so much, and then yet I'm not able to experience what God will do in this camp. And there's also other feelings that I couldn't support my team, I couldn't support my co-camp commandant, Carmen.
When things go wrong at camp itself, I had to make the decisions myself, and I don't have someone to back me up telling me that maybe we should rethink this, or maybe that we can view it in a different way.
And through this time of just feelings of like, I'm not able to go to camp, there was one thing that was telling me that even though I don't see it, even though I don't feel it, even though I'm not at camp, I know that God is working. It's not me being there will make the difference, but God's presence that will be there that make a difference.
I remember the last night very clearly. I was scheduled to go out and preach. I had prepared a message. I didn't sleep, prepared a message. But God's presence was so strong, and I didn't even have to preach at night because God moved.
It was the practice before that night session. I took time to pray and just settle down. I just had this vision of how all the teens were kneeling down and they were crying out to God. In my mind, I just thought, let's just linger in His presence. When I opened my eyes, it was exactly as the vision, and it was very beautiful.
To see that we didn't even have a service, but we had a whole worship session just worshiping Him, seeing the teens surrendering their lives to God once again.
I received God as my salvation, and yes, I already thought that this is not a mistake, this is worth it.
Last year, I had a friend whom I was really close to. She did something I didn't like. I stopped talking to her. On the third day of camp, I had just enough confidence to walk up to her and apologize.
So Kanish gave a call about addiction, and I have been addicted to games for so many years now, and God really spoke to me during that time. I think God really wants me to help other teenagers that's addicted to games also.
That was the night I said, you know what, it was worth everything coming here because it was such a move of God.
I have seen that God has shown me that I don't need to be perfect, but He will use me with whatever I have as long as I give my best to Him.
Despite all the fears and worries and concerns, despite all the doubts, I think X-Teens Camp 2020 was one of the best ever because God moved so powerfully, and everyone in camp literally have to live by faith because we don't know what the next day will be like, but God was there.